Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a weekly podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives or any other combination of business partnerships.
We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together we are In Business.
As well as speaking with other couples, we'll let you know of any useful business apps and websites out there that our members have come across and shared with us in our regular weekly online meetings.
Plus, we'll tell you about our special bonus episode coming up this Friday. It's called our Friday Fix. So be sure to listen all the way through to the end to find out more.
So, without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. Welcome to Frank and Ian of Premiers. Thank you for being our first guests of our new podcasting show. Yeah. Looking forward to having a chat with you and getting to find out a bit more about you and your business.
So, Frank, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi there. So we are a family business. It's been a family business probably for about 10 years. We kind of concentrate these days on business tools. Namely kind of reputation management system, digital business cards we do, and we've got a brand new product which is called Linkaroo, a kind of catchy name, and it really is a product where you can gather all your links together and you can have just one link to share with everybody, and then you don't need to say here's my Twitter link, here's my Facebook link, here's my this, here's my that. So it's one link. So we're really excited about that. So we've been a family business for a few years. Both Ian and I ran businesses separately for quite a while ago, and we also have another son in the business called Barry. Barry really kind of concentrates on a physical business that we have, which is a coffee shop, and it's also got nutrition products. Barry's right into his nutrition. I'm not so much as anybody that's seen a picture of me might see, but Barry is certainly into his nutrition stuff. He's a nutritionalist, and so he's got some great products and that. So we're involved in that as well. So
you mentioned about 10 years ago when you started together. What prompted the old starting together then? What was it?
You know, the funny thing about it is, my dad was in business himself. He owned a little hardware shop up here in Glasgow. I looked at my dad and almost thought that's the way to go, is to own your own business. I don't know if that's what Ian and Barry thought as well. I think we just started looking at each other's businesses and suddenly we were working together with our own company.
Yeah, so it just seemed to happen then.
Is that how it was? How you thought, Ian? Did you look and think that's the way to go? My dad runs his own business. So
I can't wait to work with him.
Well, I certainly was attracted by the freedom that obviously I saw my dad having, you know, the kind of choices that he could take days off here and there if required and stuff, and a bit more freedom than having a 9-to-5. So it was certainly a route that I wanted to go down eventually. And obviously going through university, and throughout university I was a bartender. So that was the kind of like practical experience I got throughout it, and doing a business degree. I kind of knew I was wanting to start my own business at the end of it, mobile bars and doing cocktail masterclasses. So yeah, that was the start of my kind of first business way back when, probably kind of like back when I was still a teenager, or certainly early 20s. And that's what kind of evolved. So over the kind of like 10, 12, maybe 15 years, Frank's kind of got more involved in that. Kind of helped me organise the admin of it, because obviously organising different events for hen parties just was a full-time job in itself.
So the three of you, is it Barry as well? Are you all part of a team then? Yeah.
We are. Barry's much more silent partner in the digital products. He does focus much more on nutrition products and our physical business, which is the coffee shop.
You'll also notice that my son calls me Frank sometimes. Don't let that put you off. It doesn't put me off. I'm used to it now. So.
I know. I do apologise. I'll start calling you Dad more.
No,
in business context, I'm so used to, for years, because we've been either networking together or in kind of business meetings with other people, it has been so natural to say Frank every now and again as opposed to Dad. But yeah.
Next sort of question then, how do you find working as a family then? How do you all gel? How do you work together? I mean, are there any challenges, or is it just lots of fun? Because we have lots of fun, don't we? We have lots of fun. Oh, it's all one big laugh here, guys. Kidding.
You want to take this one, Dad?
Yeah, on you go.
All right, so yeah, I mean, we both bring so much different things to the table. Obviously, we don't live together, so we're not bouncing everything off each other, but we have a chat widget open on our computers all day long, and we are kind of chatting back and forward, not just about business things, but like, any funny things that come up. So as much as we're not physically beside each other, which we used to kind of go around to each other's houses and work beside each other. But just with the last year that's in place, we've not done that. But no, obviously, Dad's got the wealth of experience and knowledge of running more businesses than me. So I'm bringing hopefully more kind of thought-provoking ideas. That we do work well together, and we bring different aspects to the table in that regard. So it is fun, but yeah, it's not as probably fun as having an office where you could play pranks on each other in the kitchen, or about the coffee station and all that kind of thing. But I suppose that's almost every business in the UK right now. You're very lucky, you two, having each other beside each other.
Yeah.
Or does it work both ways?
You want to see them sometimes in the network meeting, and it'd be better if they were apart, to be honest with you. As for me, I absolutely love working in a family business. I mean, one of the big things for me, I've had business partners in the past for other businesses that I've had over the years. And although you would never go into somebody that you didn't trust and believe in and have the same vision, there's nothing more like having family. I mean, who doesn't trust their family? If you don't, then, there's more. Yeah. There's more problems than the business problems. And I love working with sons because I get to speak to them every day. I don't know if they like that. And I think, in actual fact, because I'm obviously a good bit older than both Ian and Barry, I probably got a lot more business experience, but it's an old-fashioned kind of business experience. My businesses in the past, there wasn't the internet. Well, there was the internet towards the end, but there wasn't the internet. So I'm not 100% sure about all the social stuff and all the kind of etiquette and all that kind of stuff. I'm good if I've got bricks and mortar, or if we've got physical things we've got to do, accountancy stuff. I know my way around that very, very easily. But Ian, especially in the technical side of things, is much more tuned into what is needed in that side of it. So
you think the balance works quite well then, do you think? Does it
you bring the youth to it?
Yeah. Bit like I do to ours, really.
To be honest with you, I find it quite easy to have the kind of cut off between when we're in business and when we're having family time. I mean, when we have Barry has got a couple of kids, and when we have a Zoom call together, Barry, Ian, and the two wives and myself, and we kind of all chat. It's family stuff. We don't talk about business. No. It's separate, and I don't have a kind of problem separating it out. I personally find it quite easy. Talk about business stuff and family meetings. You find that the grandkids kind of disappear to the rooms, and the wives kind of disappear to the and it's just me, Ian, and Barry that are left. So we've learned by experience. We try not to do that too much.
It's much more a conscious thought to kind of just get everybody involved and just kind of say stop at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock whenever we've done it, and it's we'll keep the kind of business chat for either WhatsApp, where it's just chat between the three of us, or something kind of separate. But we keep kind of fun time for sure.
So what do you think the benefits are of working together?
I mean, I think you've highlighted a couple there. Maybe are there any more you can think of that?
The biggest thing probably is trust. Trust there, and also the fact that you could probably say anything and know that you're going to resolve it. We're going to get through it. If you bring up a ridiculous idea that somebody else just disagrees with, you just hash it out a bit. You get through it, and we're family. We are going to resolve it in some way. Yeah. And whether it's just we'll shelve the idea and we'll come back to it in 6 months' time, or whether it's right, we've come down on one side or the other. I think those are probably the two main aspects that are the benefits, I think, of having family as your business partners as well.
And the other thing is, sorry, Ian. The other thing is, for sure, when you're in business with somebody and you have a great business win, something great happens, you get a big new client, or the internet works without crashing, whatever it might be, a huge business win, then there's people to celebrate it with. There really are people that you really love and trust, and you can literally say, well, didn't we do good there? Yeah. And the opposite, if things are going a bit bad, then you're not just sitting in your room as a one-man, one-woman business worrying about it. At least you can bounce ideas off each other and either tell each other everything's going to be okay or not. So I think that I've had businesses where I've been on my own, totally on my own, and I've quite liked that. But when good times happen, you feel a wee bit silly kind of punching the air on your own and dancing around the room when there's nobody else to say, what a great thing, I got a new big client today or whatever. So I think there's huge advantages in having partners, as long as you have the same goal, the same end goal. You want the same, and as long as you get on and you trust each other, I think there's nothing better than having people there that you can communicate with.
Yeah, I think you're right. In any even business partnership, I think trust, isn't it? It's important, isn't it? If you've got to trust somebody you work with, haven't you? There's been so many incidents, people I know, where people have, they've been in partnerships and somebody's just run off with the money or something, or left someone in a mess or whatever. So I suppose it's nice, but it being, like you say, a family thing, the bond's stronger, isn't it? There's less chance of that happening. Yeah, because you can always track them down, because
That's true. I know where you live.
Exactly. I know.
The other thing about a family business is, and this is a wee bit off topic a bit, but I'm a trained optician. I think I had mentioned that before to Tracy anyway. And I had a business partner in that place, and we had 11 practices, so we were reasonable size optical business. And although I got on so well with my business partner, and we had the same visions and the likes, but when it came to selling it, we sold it because he wasn't very well, and we had to sell, or he wanted to sell. But when it came to the end, I had to start thinking, crikey, I've got to start planning here, because I've got a good going business worth a good bit of money if it was sold. How would it be if I suddenly died, or something happened to me? My kids, my children, would be in partnership with this business partner who they know but don't know very well. And so I think having a business which is a family business like your own, it's so much easier, because you don't have to worry about anything like that. If something happens to me or something happens to anybody else, then you know that the business will carry on with the people that are still alive. So that's a kind of morbid but practical thing that I think is good about having a family business.
Have you come across any challenges, that have got in the way, or that you've not been able to sort, or that...
The only challenges I think I've got is Ian and Barry.
I would mirror that from this side.
This is Frank.
I can see why you call him Frank now, Ian.
Yeah. That distance. I know.
I can't think of any big challenges that we have. We sometimes have arguments, we sometimes have disagreements, we sometimes, finish calls and think, oh, I shouldn't have said that or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're back. We've got the same aim, I think, for the business. We know what we want, and we know where we want to be. But I don't see too many challenges. Do you, Ian?
No, not massively. I mean, we've got the same kind of goal at the end of the day, and although it's changed so much, and that is the beauty of obviously bringing up different products in different directions. We have pivoted so far in the last kind of 5 years. We've started to come more digital and things, but it's come from a little suggestion to say, should we do this? And then that's grown into a bigger conversation, which wasn't a challenge. It was more exciting, taking on a new project and things, Challenges, I mean, that was a big change, obviously, going from actual doing events and things to becoming a digital company. Was a bit of a challenge, but no, it's one we're excited about, as opposed to a challenge that kind of stopped us in our tracks.
I don't think it's a challenge that is unique to just partnerships or people who are in business together, but focusing. I think we find as a company difficult to focus. I mean, over the years, if you could see my Windows filing cabinet, my filing cabinet on my desktop, you would see like 100 or 200 ideas And I think Ian's maybe just too polite to say, but it keeps on saying we need to focus. Focus on one product, focus on two products. Maximum let's focus on three. But I'm a typical entrepreneur, I think. The minuscule stuff doesn't really interest me that much. But see these ideas that just keep on coming in, and I keep on. And sometimes I can't say it to Ian or Barry because they'll say, no, we're not doing anything. It's a great idea, but we're not doing it anymore. We're doing what we're doing. So yeah. I think that's a challenge, but it's a challenge for most entrepreneurs.
You sound a lot like me there, Frank. I tend to be the blue sky thinker of the team, and I can be easily distracted and go on to something else. I've just spotted this, or we'll do that now. Why don't we do it? And you have to say to me that, hang on a minute. No. We're trying to grow the membership. Why are you doing that? Oh, okay then. But it's so easy for me. We sound like twins, Frank. We sound like twins then.
But you say, well, you're the younger twin, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
but the thing is, the exciting thing for business, I'm going to go on a wee motivational thing here, but the exciting thing for business is there are so many opportunities now. You know what I mean? It's not as if, like when my dad was in business, it was you open up a shop or you open up another shop or you go on a dole or it's not like that anymore. The opportunities for true business people and true entrepreneurs are massive, especially in our kind of way when when it's digital, because not only can we sell to people within a mile radius, we've got clients now in Australia, America, almost all the English-speaking countries of the world. And so the opportunities, so that's where all these ideas come from. There's very little limitation that a business person can't do if they really want to.
Yeah, no, you're right. There are no limits now with the internet and what you can do. It's just amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. I wish this had been around 40 years ago when I started working, because I think the opportunities now are just incredible. Do you think working together is sort of like a positive then, or a negative effect on your sort of relationship, on your sort of like family relationship? Is there any sort of positives or negatives? What, Ian?
I would say positive, just from the sheer fact that we're in touch with each other, like almost, well, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it means it's not kind of weeks between communication and things. We are in touch with each other almost every hour of every day, especially during the working days. And then
you possibly wouldn't have as much contact if you weren't in business together.
Well, exactly, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I personally don't have kids, so I don't, it's, like I say, Frank and me, or Dad and me, call up and do a video chat with the whole family every now and again, and that's more to bring in the kids and get the kids involved and have a bit of fun. Which is obviously happening much more because of the pandemic, and you're making these efforts like that. But having the kind of communication and just being in touch with each other, it forces that part of it, but it makes it so much easier to keep in touch and build a relationship. So
the only kind of negative might be, and it's not for me because I'm quite an open person, and it's not a problem for me. But I suppose it might be in some family businesses, knowing the ins and outs of each other's, like how much you earn and different things like that. There might be a wee bit in some family businesses, but we certainly haven't. I certainly haven't come across that because we're all equal in the business. Not for us, because I've got to be honest. I think you'll agree, Ian. I'm pretty open about my finances and things like that. I think when I sold my optician's practices, I thought that I had to be more open, because if something had happened to me at that stage, my business life was all over the place. I had so many fingers and so many pies that I had to share everything with Ian and Barry so that they knew what was happening, so.
Yeah. Well, it brought it home a bit because of the reason you were selling, and Dad kind of touched on that. The reason he sold his optician was because his partner became kind of ill. So that kind of, at that point, certainly made you probably a bit more conscious of what could and might happen. It's literally possible that something unfortunate could happen.
So what's the plan going forward then now, you guys? What's the future for Premiers, and are you trying to be a massive organisation, or what is it that you're hoping to do as a family business?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I mean, we've never really discussed taking on employees as yet, because we're trying to make things a bit more kind of automated. Yeah, we've not really talked about building it into, we want to be the next Google or the likes, but you're never going to say no to that if it comes along.
No. Ian, can I have a wee word with you just after this call about that? To be honest with you, I always think big. I think Ian and Barry will admit to that. But my idea is not world domination, but if you've got a business, you might as well try to be the best in your field. Because to me, there's two reasons for going into business on your own. One is to make an income and do that, and the other one is to build something up that you can pass on or sell at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So me personally, I tend to think that we want big, we want worldwide. I'm not that interested in a business that will just earn a wage. We want worldwide stuff. And a great book, I think one of the books that really made me think about that, but I think this is the title, it's called The Pumpkin Plan. And if you get a chance to read that or listen to it, as I do in audiobooks, then listen to it or read it. And it's all about being the best in the business. It's
called The Pumpkin Plan, yeah? I
think it's the pumpkin something. I think it's plan at the end, but I'm pretty sure it is. I've listened to it maybe 4 or 5 times now. It's that good for me, and it's a real motivation for me. So
sounds good. If people want to get in touch with you, I think we've got a downloadable that Frank sent us along. What do you want to give us your web address? How do we get in touch if we want some of these fantastic products that you do, guys? What do we have to do? So
our website is promaze.com. That's the simplest way to find out about all the different products. We do have direct links from there to the reputation management software, our digital business cards, and Linkaroo that's coming quite soon.
Just to tell you, you were saying Promaze is a website. Just to spell that, because sometimes I hear websites and I don't know how the heck to find them. It's PRAMAZE, PRAMAZE.com.
Well, thank you again for joining us today. We've really enjoyed it. It's
been a good conversation. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Good.
Frank has kindly offered to share his business success checklist. So if you'd like a copy, we'll put the details in the show notes. Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible because of listeners like you. So thank you. We really do appreciate your support. Now, back to the show.
We now come to the part of the podcast where we let you know of any useful business apps or websites that are out there. And these are things that our members have come across and shared with us in our regular weekly meetings. We hope you find them useful. So Tracy, what's our knowledge share for this week?
Well, this week we've got one that was suggested by one of our members, and it's called mindmup.com, and it's a free online mind mapping tool. It's the hassle-free way to create, share and publish mind maps.
Wow, that's a great share. I love mind maps as well. So get in touch and let us know if you try it and what you think. We'd be interested to hear your thoughts.
And we'll put the details in the show notes.
We're almost at the end of this week's episode, but before we go, we're excited to tell you about our bonus episode this Friday on the Friday Fix, where we'll be discussing a business-related subject with a fellow business owner who'll be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic. This week's episode is called No Jab, No Job with Sarah Bradley of the HR department, so tune in to find out more. Our special guests on next week's podcast are Dee and Alan Lazenby of Lazenby's Financial Services. We're really looking forward to speaking to them and digging deeper into their experiences as a business couple.
Thanks so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it. So, until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together we are In Business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.